Hey everyone, it's Hannah Saber from HR Images. In today's video, I'll be talking to you about the Samyang 135 f1.8 AF lens for Sony E-mount system, so stay tuned. Before we get this video started, a lot of my subscribers have been notifying me saying that they haven't been able to get notified about each video that I have been publishing. Since YouTube have changed the laws around in terms of getting videos, notifying them whether it's made for kids or not made for kids, a lot of people are not getting notification and unable to click the bell notification button. But a few people have told me that they've unsubscribed and resubscribed to the channel and they're able to hit the notification button. So if you're one of them who haven't been able to get notified and can't click on the notification button, make sure to give that a try, unsubscribe and resubscribe to the channel to be able to then use the bell notification. Getting back to this video, Samyang has released the 135 1.8 AF lens for Sony E-mount system. Now, been using Samyang lenses since the first AF lens, which was the 50 f1.4, they have come a long way in terms of the build quality as well as the autofocus. The most awaited lens everyone was waiting for Samyang was the 135. Sony, Sigma, the ones that had the 135, but Sigma was very large, whereas the Sony was a smaller G Master lens. And now Samyang have added into that 135 collection. Getting to the build quality of the Samyang lenses, I love the design and how they've done the rubber focus ring, giving that nice grip and smooth focus. Now, it has a firmness to it, so it won't, as you're shooting, when you knock it, it's sort of harder to knock, so it doesn't sort of kind of creep in to change the focus, which is what I liked. One other thing what I love that Samyang has implemented on their lenses is now they've got the focus button as well as the mode 1 and mode 2 function. Now, with these functions, with the lens station, you are able to then customize your own settings how you want it. So, for example, the focus mode button, you can set to IAF, or you can set it to focusing, or different things, or even crop mode, or those sort of things. You can sort of adjust it into lens station, especially with the mode 1 and the mode 2. Now, one of the settings that Samyang has implemented in the mode function button is I have it currently set to as mode 1, where it's manual focus, and mode 2, where it becomes like an aperture ring. Loving the G Master lenses, how I love the aperture ring and being able to shoot and change the aperture on the go without being adjusting both shutter and aperture from the camera. You can then just sort of go, you shoot, you're changing your aperture through the focus ring. For the 135, it is a lightweight lens. It is not heavy. Having it mounted onto the camera, it is nicely balanced on your hands, so it doesn't feel too front mount heavy. Coming at an 82mm filter thread. The Samyang 135 has really blown me away in terms of the focusing. Using it in low light, being able to capture images. So these images, I'll be showing images as I'm going through this lens, so you guys get to see what this lens can produce. I did a workshop in the city, Vivid Festival, extreme low light. All we had was a LED light, and it's been able to lock on to the eye autofocus with the model without any hunting or any struggle. Comparing it to the very first Samyang 50mm lens, in low light, you did have some sort of hunting, but as the years gone by, Samyang has progressed and all improved in their focusing system in their recent lenses. And the 135 was one of them that had the big improvement in the autofocus. Silent autofocus, you cannot hear the motor as you're shooting in low light, and you don't get that hunt. With the eye autofocus, it is very accurate, and I did not have any. Sometimes if you notice some lenses where you focus on the eye, you shoot, it does miss the eye, it doesn't actually focus on the eye. The Samyang, I have not noticed that, and I actually fell in love with using this lens in terms, especially portrait photography. Bokeh on this lens, the 135, is stunning. Getting that nice compression at a 135 and having the wide aperture at 1.8, being able to give you that nice background separation as well as bokeh. Some of these images, as you can see the bokeh in the background and that background separation and the image quality. So again, these shots were all with just the Nanlite 5C LED light, just lighting the model, enough to light the model just to break the shadows so it's not too dark. But other than that, we didn't have really much light because it was nighttime really. Sharpness, it is sharp wide open, as you can see in this image, and corner to corner, it still retains its sharpness wide open, which is a big plus. A lot of photographers always asked whether or not the lens is sharp corner to corner. As you can see from this image sample, you can see how nicely sharp it's in center, and corner, it still retains its sharpness. Flaring, it does produce a bit of lens flare, but again, with me, I do love a bit of lens flare, adds a bit of creativity and something different to your images. The lens flare is nicely appealing, but it depends on how you're shooting against the sun. As you can see, this image shooting directly towards the sun, having it behind the trees, shooting at f8, f11, somewhere around that mark, can't remember on top of my head, but you can see how predominant the lens flare is. And then you've got this image where you have the sun on the corner of the image and having that nice soft ray of sunlight hitting my daughter, but not producing any sun flares. So it all depends on how you're shooting with the lens to be able to then get the amount of sun flare in the lens flare into the images. Focusing in autofocus in broad daylight, natural lighting, it nails the focus. The focusing, I have just been blown away and how well this lens can perform and how sharp it is. Here is a picture where I've done a headshot, outdoor, natural light, and just being able to nail the focusing on the eye. And here is an extreme crop of the same image showing how sharp the eyes is and showing you how well it nails the focus on the eyes. Being able to use it for portraits, I've even shot a christening and low light situation as well in the church, not allowed to use flash. You're on the go. It's unlike portraits, you have time to refocus. If it doesn't get the focus, you got to refocus again. Christenings, you're on the go. You're constantly on the go. And being able to sit there and being able to capture the images that you want in the right timing and nailing the focus is a big plus for me. Whereas you guys have known and followed me, you would have known that where I do my reviews, I base it on real world scenarios. If it doesn't work for me in a christening, wedding, or portrait session, in a real life scenario, I would not promote the lens. I would not highly recommend the lens. But the fact that I've used it at so many different events, pushed it to its limits, seeing how well it performs in events, paid gigs, by the way, this lens has probably been my most favorite out of all the Samyang lenses that has been released. Again, here's another image of low light. Complete pitch darkness. We had to recreate the light with the Nanlite pivot tubes. And we've had one main light in front of the model to be able to light her face. And we had one behind her and one on this, giving her a side light. A completely pitch dark nighttime, about maybe 9-10 o'clock. We were on the bridge with no light. And just by recreating lighting with LED lights, this lens has still retained its focus. Another thing about the lens, you've also got a focus limiter, so you can shoot between full and you can get close to macro. You're not going to get a full macro lens, but it's close enough to capture nice detail shots. So if you're shooting weddings, events, christenings, and you don't have a macro lens, you have 135, you can utilize this getting close-up shots, detail shots, as well as your normal portraits. So this is basically like an all-round lens going from macro to portraits. Going into video now, having a look at these video clips, this is in broad daylight. The focusing, it's tack sharp in terms of video. It focus, nails it, follows it through, doesn't hunt, doesn't jump. The focus motor, it does not make any noise in the video. You do not hear anything in the video. It is very silent, the 135. And this is in broad daylight. A friend of mine, they had a cafe. I decided to go and film just a couple of clips just to test out the focusing of them making coffee and seeing how well the focusing can keep up to it. And I'm actually really impressed in terms of how well this performs in video. Going into low light video now, Here's a little clip of my son and my dog playing. We were in the hallway, the light was off, only the living room light was on, and the eye autofocus for video kept tracking onto my son and being able to follow him as he's moving around without any jumping. If you notice some of the lenses, if they're not pretty good in video, you'll find that little jump in the focus when you're filming. With the Samyang, with the 135 lens, I haven't noticed any of that. Silent focus and very precise for video as well as autofocus for stills. That concludes my quick review on the Samyang 135 f1.8 lens. If you're after a portrait lens, a well-priced portrait lens, do check out the Samyang. Go to the stores, test it out, play with it. These videos are here just to help you guys decide whether it is a lens for you to buy. I would not be using it and I would not be doing a video if I did not like the lens. If you guys did like and enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification button. Do check out my Facebook groups listed below. Also, my affiliate links. If you purchase anything from my Amazon affiliate links, it does give me a bit of a kickback, help me to support this channel to continue creating content for you guys, giving you guys real world reviews on products. Until then guys, enjoy and we'll catch you later.